You are watching Total Crypto's court proceedings. And today we have got with us Mr. George, who is the CEO of Relite Finance. And he will be answering to the questions of our public prosecutor. And the jury for today's case would be you. That's the audience, and you can share your verdict via comments. Welcome, George, to the Total Crypto's court. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Right. So, George, let me start the proceedings with you have been associated with media and banking sector for quite some time. Was moving into crypto space a sudden move, or the idea was there in your mind for quite some time?
Yeah, true. My background is in media. Then I went to product development and business development in IT. And so I work with most of the European banks in the Baltic region, so Swedbank, Nordea, and then I also work with big telecommunications in Sweden, Norway, and Estonia called Telegroup, and also Tallink, which is one of the major logistical partners in the logistical sphere. So basically, I had quite some time dealing with corporate things. I had the chance to understand what is actually to be building a product, a digital product for mass adoption, and what means user testing, how to analyze users, how to basically create a product that is understandable for a bigger market. So the past 4 years, I decided to go to crypto because it's something that for me is very important because it's a disruptive. It's against the status quo of the regular guys I work with that I had enough with. And also during that time, I actually met super talented people, both entrepreneurs, and basically for the past 4 years, I've been working only crypto startups, meaning I was consulting, I was helping them with marketing strategy on the UX side and product. And the Relight essentially came last year, at the end of last year, where we actually, founders of ours, friends of ours, we decided to initiate the product, and now we're working on something our own. So yeah, this is kind of the short story. And of course, Bitcoin. I've been into the Bitcoin since 2013. Been reading about it and being there, so I know the space quite well.
Right, that's definitely a very long time. But if we look, it seems that you're not happy with the current lending platforms available in the market. As the first move into the crypto segment with your own company is already getting into a very crowded lending space. So actually, what does Relite Finance offer to the consumers or the people who are interested in your company?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first of all, we need to take two major things. We offer simplicity, meaning that people who haven't yet got to the DeFi space of lending, they understand very quickly how to proceed. And then it's the sustainability. What does it mean? Basically, by simplicity, we mean that everything will be very well presented to the audience, how exactly fees are calculated, what is the collateral, etc. And then for the sustainability, we also will enable users actually to get a loan on much cheaper, with cheaper fees, and then at the same time, collateral will be in a reasonable manner. So finally, as a stepping point, is that on the market at the moment, there's not much really interoperability, meaning there's not much cross-chain. So you have different chains sitting with liquidity on them, not flowing. So we need to bring that kind of connection with that liquidity, and with cross-chain, you can actually do that. So essentially, the lending platform will enable people as well to use Kusama, DOT, ERC-20, and even other NFTs in the future as collateral.
George, tell us a bit about your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, so we started in October 2020. We're originally 5 founders from Estonia, Bulgaria, and Israel. Myself, I told you a bit my background in business development and in media. We have great compliance officer Hannes, who's been dealing with crypto since 2013. We have a very great guy on the risk modeling side, Christo, who's been also being able to provide feedback on credits in China and US for big banks. Also, we have the CTO, of course, my dear friend Boris from Israel, who has been working in the medical and financial sector and bringing like blockchain solutions to them. And we have, of course, Stan, who is also dealing with the product and design, and he's been working with American companies like SMS Bump and things like that. So pretty much we have like a kind of a variety of skills, but in a very complementary way. And I think also the professionalism comes because we actually work with a lot of big names in the industries.
Right. So, George, I must say you have got a very strong team. And let's move to the next question. How do you solve the classic marketplace issue of supply and demand? If there are lenders but less borrowers, or vice versa, how would you solve this thing?
Yeah, that's basically a very, very interesting question, but it's actually about liquidity incentivization. So if you have like good liquidity rewards mechanism, that means like 20% of Relay tokens will be distributed both to lenders and borrowers. This is already creating a very healthy environment in the beginning. In addition to that, you earn portion of the revenue if they stake Relay in our reserve fund pool. So this will bring additional revenue to ensure protocol stability, but also incentivize additional more users in the later stage. And finally, LPs can utilize our Uniswap, Relay Ethereum pairs. So of course, the stickiness, as they say, comes from the better API and reasonable interest rate. But this is where we can play around with the good reward system, and of course the variety of pools that we can ensure that people are staking and they still keep going in the product without removing the liquidity and running away quickly.
So, George, does the concept of reverse fund act like insurance cover or a stabilizing aspect in case of any, say, unfortunate mishap in the platform?
Essentially, we need to conserve the reserve pool as the reserve fund as more like a safety cushion in terms of like sharp declines in the market. Basically, in order not to liquidate all the positions of the users, we need to have like some kind of a safety net, right? So this safety net will be used, and then we can recapitalize the percentages of that risky liquidations when there is a sharp fall. After that, some rallies are released on the market. We obtained against stable value towards, and after that, after the market is stabilized, we again buy back the rallies. So in order to keep the reserve fund pool in health and also in price of rally. So I can say it's like in the both like a stabilizer, but also kind of ensures that the protocol is safe, and also there's not like super sharp liquidation on every position possible when on the market. And on top of that, the bigger the reserve fund is growing, the better also interest we can give, and also the better also collateralization ratio to the users.
So, what will be the criteria for making terms and fixed term pools in the future?
Yeah, we do have that. Essentially, the fixed term pools are derived from the kind of the philosophy of the fixed income fund, where you actually have like a stable yield and actually like a much more stable API, of course. But essentially, it's like pools that actually they're much more set terms in terms of time frame, meaning that users can actually set time frame when they can return the loan. And this also will give us like understanding like of how to act, and essentially that is also regarding like predictability. So we actually know more about the loans, we know more about the users, and we know about the time frame, so that eventually we can actually give more better terms. It's really actually some of that is partly taken, of course, from the traditional banking fiat system, but essentially it's like different pool utilization and taken from that kind of fixed income fund understandings.
Do you have any specific timelines in your mind for integrating Polkadot bridges?
Yeah, so basically it's first we need to understand that the Polkadot parachain auction is going to happen May and June. That means that as soon as these kind of slots are taken, then there will be much more clearance which are exactly the parachains of Polkadot out there. Now, we know for sure that some will actually get them because they already have the capital to do it, and also they have the contacts and the power to actually execute it. So we will be using those that actually have NICO information for them, and that we can become partners of them. So I can say that probably July will have more like a realistic kind of understanding, and also like already in July we'll have some more tangible and tangible MVP. So in the best case we'll have also Ethereum DAI and DOT pools. And speaking of which, of course, we also in the meantime we're testing, of course, the solution for the bridges and the parachains. We also tested between Kusama and Kovan, so we are kind of prepared for the implementation of the bridges.
What kind of security systems have you deployed to guard the platform against breaches? Because in the last couple of months we have seen an increase in the number of attacks on the DeFi platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we have most of our team is based in Estonia, as I said, and we actually have advisors from the Estonian cybersecurity department. So these guys actually worked with on the NATO cybersecurity shield, which actually is residing in Estonia. So these guys actually know how to build security. The other aspect is we have we're planning a lot of not a lot, but at least several smart contract audits. And the first one is already scheduled with CERDIC. And of course, we need to do excessive testing and release, not to test in prod, as they say. And of course, on top of that, we plan to engage with a bounty program, which will also allow, or let's say, motivate black or white hat hackers. Let's see, without the black ones, but to check if the system is running okay, if smart contracts are okay, and tell us if we have any problems.
So, what other pools you have in mind other than the Uniswap and the Relight token?
Yeah, we'll have also the stablecoins, DAI, USDC, USDT, Ethereum, in the future, UFI, of course, Kusama, Kala. For trading pools, Relight, Dot, and essentially also in the end we'll have open collateral pools so for the NFTs. So really exciting to explore that as well. It's very, very interesting how the NFT space is working and how we can actually collateralize NFT on the platform and get a loan against it.
Definitely quite a few in the pipeline. So how much decrease in transaction cost is expected by using Polkadot parachains?
Yeah, this is quite debatable. Of course, our analysis shows that we can get lower than, let's say, 90 to 95% lower than Ethereum. And of course, also the speed is tremendous. So if realistically, that's about 1,000 TPS. So pretty fast. Get again dependable on the Polkadot, but I think it's anyway in the works, so things are gonna work out there too.
So George, finally, last question: on what factors do you think Relite tokens value would increase in the future?
Yeah, I mean that's a tricky one. I cannot promise Lambos. But yeah, we are in a bull market, so we expect a very high increase, of course. So I think definitely in the next 9 to 12 months, it will be very interesting in the crypto market.
Great. Thanks, George, for spending time with us and responding to our queries. And now we raise the case to the jury. Whatever is your verdict, please write it down in the comments so that George and his team can take action on it or maybe respond to your queries also. So thank you very much for watching and thank George.